Hello and welcome to the LFC Transfer Room stream. Thank you guys for waiting. My name is Rigo. I'm joined today by Dan and Damo. How are you doing, fellas? Dan?
Doing great, doing great. Is this the first time that Rigo's hosting a stream? That's the question.
Yeah, a little nervous here, but I think we should pull through. We got quality on the stream today. How's it going for you today, Damo?
Oh, good, mate. 3 wins in a row, eh?
Oof.
Liverpool Football Club with 3 wins in a row. We can't ask better than that. And then we got the three Migos right now as well.
Yes, sir. 3 wins, as well as 3 clean sheets. I think that's the biggest point that we kind of gotta bring out. Thankfully, we're back to winning ways, and as well as keeping teams off the score sheet there. Um, so thank you all guys all for joining in. For those of you on the chat, please be sure to enter in your comments and any topics you guys like to discuss. To kind of lead off today's stream, we like to go to our transfer guru Dan, who has a couple of targets potentially on the block heading our way.
Awesome, awesome. Before we even jump in, I feel like we should mention the fact that Naby Cates is officially back in training. I want to hear you guys out. I want to see what you guys' thoughts behind this whole recovery is. I'm buzzing because, as many people know, I'm a huge Naby Keita fan. Obviously, I'm not a fan of his attitude or his reported attitude, supposedly trying to leave. But I feel that now that he's back, he might be able to challenge for a starting spot. Believe it or not, I don't know what you guys think. Damon, you seem like you don't agree with this. Tell me what are you thinking behind this.
You know what? I love Navigator. I loved him when he came. He was a special talent, but we said it like a month ago, didn't we, about conspiracy theory that I honestly think that he would fake that injury. Maybe not faked it, but like prolonged it a little bit more than what it needed to be. And it's funny that International's going to come around the corner soon and is back in time for them. So yeah, I'd love him to see him back in team because he's a talented player. And if he is willing to show that talent, and if he's willing to put that shirt on and really try hard for us, then fair enough. Then if he had half his attitude, then he'd be a brilliant player. But he doesn't at the moment. So,
do you guys agree with the fact that aside from Thiago, Naby Keita is our best midfielder?
Aside from Thiago and Fabinho,
just Thiago. Fabinho's right now.
In terms of quality, yeah, I'd probably say yes, definitely. Last year, for all his reputation as far as being injured, he was available for the most part. Did a great job when Thiago went down for a few weeks in filling in for him. And he's the actual natural replacement, not replacement, but natural backup to Thiago to make sure we kind of know wear him down. I think him coming back is a huge lift. As we saw in yesterday's match, we do need talent there in that double pivot when Fabinho came in. For Thiago, him and Henderson really didn't look like they meshed too well. That's two players there who don't really have that much ball carrying ability or that much technique on the ball. And I think having Keita there to either start sometimes or come in and fill in for Thiago off the bench, I think would be crucial. And especially during this stretch, now that we do have Curtis Jones back as well, and since Luis Diaz and Jota are out, we're likely to see Curtis Jones, play a lot more on that left mid position where he came in to substitute for Carvalho yesterday. So definitely having Naby back is a huge benefit. And he'll provide us with valuable minutes off the bench, at least to begin with, once he gets back up to speed.
I have a feeling that now that he's back, we're going to see Thiago and Keita in a double pivot, hopefully and finally soon. By the way, hello to everybody who's in the chat. As always, Jen is here. How's it going, Jen? Haler is also here. And Haler says that as a man of stats, he is his duty to correct his stats when he sees them. So Haler says that Darwin Nunez broke Kylie. Oh, this is a good one, by the way. Darwin Nunez broke Kyle Walker's record for the fastest recorded speed in the Premier League, which is incredible, by the way. 38 kilometers per hour. Kylie Walker stood at 37.8. This is such a good one right here because I don't know. I feel like we have been missing a quick and fast striker aside of the wingers. We had Daniel Sturridge, who wasn't that fast. We had Luis Suarez, who was okay with speed. We had Benteke, who wasn't never fast. Andy Carroll. I can name Firmino has never been known for being fast. Who else? Am I missing like any quick strikers that I don't think we ever had like a fast striker?
Torres.
Oh, Torres. That's probably the last decent all-rounder striker that we had. I feel like
Torres, then before that, probably Michael Owen. That's probably the only proper speed we've had.
Yeah, and then so now we're going years back. I feel like Nunez is the perfect package and physicality wise. Now we're finally seeing some decent performances, which by the way, it seems like he came out with an injury scare, but according to Jurgen Klopp is nothing too bad to get worried about.
Yeah, it was precautionary. We found that out after the match. I think all of us on the group chat were wondering why pull him in the 58th minute, especially with how dangerous he was yesterday, nearly bringing down the goalpost with that shot off the post. That left foot, what do you guys think? Is that left foot better than his right foot?
He reminds me of which player was it that was just as good with his weak foot than his right foot? Was it Adam Lallana?
Arsenal. Cazorla, very good with both feet.
Was it no? But like in Liverpool, was it him or Lallana? I think Lallana was good with both feet, wasn't it?
Yes, he was all right.
Yeah, that too.
But
right. Who?
Luis Garcia.
Oh, Luis Garcia. Come on, Damon. You know, I don't even remember. This has been many years back.
The previous Lucho.
I have a pretty bad memory. Come on.
It's between him and Jota with the best off-foot power and finishing there. Jota, he's our most ambidextrous finisher, and now he definitely has competition for what we've seen from Darwin there.
Now, I do want to touch on this point before we move on. So supposedly there's no real reports. There's one report coming from Florian Plettenberg saying that Naby Keita is pushing for a way out. This came out like a month ago, I believe we reported it. And as many of you guys know, Florian Plettenberg is one of the most reliable journalists in Germany. And at the time when this came out, a lot of local journalists were saying that everything was fine, the contract talks were okay and whatnot. And then more and more Germany reports came out with the truth that actually Naby Keita is pushing for a way out of the club. And I believe that the fact that he hasn't signed an extension proved that this is the case. Because I think this is his last year under contract, right?
Yeah, his contract runs out in the summer of 23, next summer.
Yeah, so I mean, it's pretty safe to say that the rumors are true. He's either looking for a way out or he's looking for a better package. But I feel like it's time to start getting into some transfer rumors because that's what we always like to touch on. And the first one, or do you guys want to touch on the club comments? Because there's some comments from club. I don't know if you guys saw them about the possible 4-4-2 with Darwin and Salah up front.
I haven't seen those actually, but that sounds it's music to my ears. I think that's the best pairing we have going forward. And as far as transfer targets, we should definitely be looking for a right winger.
So this is what club has said. So it says there's a chance that we may play Darwin and Mo Salah in the center. That would be a high-speed combination, but we need to get there somehow. We're still developing this kind of system, and we figured out how is this best for our specific games. What is everyone's thoughts on the 4-4-2 with a two-striker partnership of Salah and Darwin? Damon, you look sad. What is going on, Damon? Do you even like this partnership?
This is what I wanted. This is when I said the 4-2-3-1. This is what I wanted about Salah coming inside, and maybe the other day I did a little piece on Mbappe coming in, and I put it in the chat earlier. Did I imagine Mbappe on the right wing, Diaz on the left, Salah behind Nunez? I mean,
cheeky.
I mean, wow. You wouldn't dare attack against Liverpool, would you? If that happened, the speed on the break would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what would you do with Jota? Yeah. That makes the most perfect sense to me. If we can get Mbappe somehow, I hope he does sort his attitude out if he did join us, because I don't like that sort of attitude player. But this lad's special. If we can somehow get him on there with Salah behind Nunez and Diaz on the left.
Rigo, what about you?
That to me, I think that's our ideal pairing. We'll get Salah more centrally and the ability to break down defenses and get shots off and get more shots per match. And of course, having the option of Nunez there just opens up so much space. As we've seen in prior matches and yesterday, when in doubt, that long punt to Nunez, he can just create some danger. And those two half volleys that he took were just outstanding chances out of nowhere. And as you can see in the background, there are stats provided by Sky Sports. So keep them honest, Haler, if I'm incorrect in any of those. He would be ranking first on a per 90 basis in shots, touches in the opponent's box, percentage of touches in the opponent's box, non-penalty expected goals, as well as fast breaks. He just adds a complete different dynamic that we haven't had, as you mentioned before. And I think pairing him with Salah up top is just a recipe for goals and excitement for us as fans to watch. To me, I think it kind of changes what our targets should kind of be moving forward. Of course, we need midfielders, but I think we should also concentrate on getting a right winger to I wouldn't say replace Salah, but take his position there. I don't think Elliott's quick enough to play that spot, but having someone to interchange that provides that dynamism on the right as well would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And by the way, look at Jen. Jen as well. Also always donating again. Thank you so much, Jen. And that's why we love Jen so much. Not only because she donates, but because she never misses a stream. I bet you every single stream that we're on, Jen is always there. And Haler as well. We love that from you guys. Let's start getting in some transfer rumors, by the way. So I'm going to read them out, obviously, because I don't know them by memory. But the first one that I want to touch on, and Damon actually mentioned this one a few moments ago before we even started the stream, is that Calcio Mercato, which is an okay average source, says that Wilfried Zaha is interested. He is interested in a possible move to Liverpool. So obviously his contract runs out at the end of the season. 29 years old, and in January, he is open to talk to any club he wishes as he prepares for a summer exit on a free. Now, you guys know how much of a fan I am of forward options in the transfer window because I feel like we're missing something, explosiveness and creativity, but I don't know if you guys think that a 29-year-old Wilfried Zaha is the right way to go. Damon?
Free, you can't really complain on someone for free, can you? Wilfried Zaha for free is an absolute talent, and he's Premier League proven as well. Done it for years in the Premier League. I think he's just made that move too late in his career. Honestly, 26, 27 is where you really push on to be the big clubs, and he's needed a big club for quite a while now, hasn't he? He's too good for Palace. No offense to Palace, but you know it's been too good for him for years now, and to push it now at 29 years old, I think he's getting to like, this is my last chance now to really get a big club. And I can't see Liverpool going for him personally, just because I think we're looking to the future now. I could see someone like possibly maybe Tottenham if Kane leaves, especially might put Son up front, and then I don't think Liverpool will go for him. You know, I'd take him just for free. Only that's the reason. I won't even take him as if I were paying 10, 15 million for him. I'd take him for free. That's it.
Was it like 5 years ago that he was pushing for a move to Arsenal, I think, and then Crystal Palace just no?
He's been pushing for a move for like the past 5 seasons. Unfortunately,
I feel bad for the guy, honestly.
And a combination
he's performed every season, though. That's the thing as well, isn't it? He's performed every season as well. It's not like he's not performed.
Yeah, the past couple seasons definitely up spike in goals. He did have a down year in 2019, 2020. He only scored 4 times that season in 30 matches, but definitely I don't think he fits the age profile that Liverpool are looking for, and he'll probably want to command a fairly decent wage as well. So I don't foresee that one being something that'll come to fruition. As a player, I love him as a player. Yesterday he played magnificently in leading Crystal Palace to a comeback win over the Wolves, a 2-1 win yesterday. And Wolves, holy cow, are they down? We might need to go shopping over there. We had a couple of targets that we've talked about before on the Wolves, but I don't foresee Zaha coming over to Anfield. What does the chat think?
And then a lot of looks like Jen doesn't want Saha. But one thing that you did mention, Rigo, is that Wolves are struggling currently through. They're going through a bad moment, and in fact, their leading candidate to become manager was the former Liverpool assistant manager. I mean, U23 coach. Is it Michael Beale or Michael Bale?
Beale, I think. Yeah, Michael Beale.
Beale, right? Yeah, it's Michael Beale. So he turned them down, and he came out with comments recently saying that he told everybody to stick through in the project, and he would never leave them. He wouldn't be the first one to leave the ship, which, by the way, I feel like is a very loyal thing to do. But now is the right time to move in for the Ruben Neves, for the Netos, for the all these players all over the place that are just really good in quality. Matthews Nunez. I don't know. I mean, he just moved there. They're definitely going to demand a lot of like a bigger fee. We'll touch on possible signings from Wolves. Damon Rigo, who would you guys take from Wolves? Is it Neves and Nunes?
I'll go first there, Damo. Pedro Neto, since we were just talking about wing options there, I think Pedro Neto would fit the bill. Left-footed player, exciting on the ball. He is coming off a long-term injury from last season, working his way back into shape, but I think he's someone who would fit into what we're trying to do at Liverpool and would be able to play on that right side upfield. So I definitely would like him as far as a target. What about you, Damo?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I agree with Pedro Neto. Definitely an absolute talent player. He does remind you of Diego Jota, doesn't he? And look what we got with Diego Jota. He just hit the ground running, didn't he, straight away? Podence is a decent option, maybe like a squad player. Other than that, like I said, it's Neves and Nunez. Probably Nunez for me. What about you, Dan?
Just because it seems like getting Matthews Nunes is very unlikely because he just moved there. I'm gonna go ahead and say Ruben Neves, obviously. Perfect age for me, 25 years old. He's not young, he's not old. He's a captain. I feel like for me, he's the perfect Jordan Henderson upgrade and replacement. So I always wanted Ruben Neves since he was at Porto, I believe it was, when we were watching him score those goals out of the box. Amazing bangers. Ruben Neves is the way for me. Some reports are saying that Barcelona are trying to get him and that he wants to move to Barcelona as well. But hopefully they keep going downhill. They get kicked out of the Champions League, and then there's no other team for him to move other than Liverpool, hopefully, right?
How many midfielders does Barcelona want? They have a surplus there. Can they hand over a couple of them to us? I'll take Kessié. I'll take Gavi, Frankie de Jong. Come on,
Pedri, man, Pedri, bring on Pedri.
That too. Well, he just extended for a big one. I think Gavi did too as well, actually. But
yeah, they have like a $1 billion.
I'll take
$1 billion release clause at this point. Like football is getting ridiculous at this point. It's not even fair. It's not even fun at this point just to try and get targets. But
that's just in the Spanish league. All contracts are required to have a release clause, so they just slap a super exorbitant one on there. Just it doesn't really mean anything. If you want to go transfer for them, you just got to offer respectable fee.
Absolutely. All right, next in line. This one is a very interesting one, and I was actually typing it as we were talking in the banners. But Joao Felix from Atletico Madrid is looking to move this January. He was hoping to stay until the summer, but supposedly he's had enough. Supposedly he wants to move. He wants to get more minutes. And if you ask me, that's a perfect player for a Liverpool-type system that can play next to Nunes. He's like a very Firmino-like player that I think he's even faster than Firmino and younger, obviously. Now, they did buy him on a 120 million euro fee, so I don't know how much do you guys think he's worth? How much do you guys think Atletico Madrid will sell? What is you guys' takes on Joao Felix? Would you take him in?
There you go.
I would, but all depending on what that transfer fee is. Yeah, you of course named that $120 million transfer fee that they paid over to Benfica, I believe 5 years ago now, and there's no way they're going to recoup that. The stats, the output that he's performed since he's moved over to Atletico doesn't merit that type of transfer fee, and also he's not even starting currently for Simeone. So I'd be very, very hesitant in trying to spend that much on him. If he's for a reasonable transfer, like between 50 and 60, definitely his age, he'll be 23 in November 10th. So definitely a lot of career ahead of him. He's very, very talented player. He playing against Atletico in the Champions League, he cut us up very nasty for, I believe, a Griezmann goal, which, he went right through with Thiago as well as Fabinho to set up that goal. So definitely a talented player. From years from playing with Simeone, he obviously knows what defensive responsibility is about. His stamina is probably through the roof just because, again, they just run and run and run for miles. But if he were to come to Anfield, he would at least be able to display his offensive talent and have more of the liberty to go ahead and express himself as opposed to being in Simeone's super tight and super boring system. I'm sorry, I can't watch Atletico Madrid play. It's like 0-0 each match until like the last 5 minutes.
Damon, what about you, man? Would you take Joao Felix, and what price would you pay for him?
With Joao Felix, I've never really understood that transfer to Atletico Madrid. Ever. I think as a young talented attacker like that, to go to Atletico Madrid, and it's wasted, isn't it? It's wasted. I don't know why he went there. There were some top quality sides after him, and he chose Atletico Madrid. It's like, you go back to Bellingham, and he had the chance to go to Man United or Dortmund, and he saw something at Dortmund. He said, this is going to get the best out of me. It's the best of my career. And well, you see Joao Felix, he's made the wrong option there, hasn't he? I think personally, and this is why he's on the bench now. It's like having, it's like having tomato sauce on rice pudding. It don't work. It might work on a burger, but it don't work on rice pudding. You need it on a burger. It's beautiful on a burger. That's what Jack is. I'm in the Liverpool team. It's tomato sauce and burger. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would take him.
Yeah, he went to that. He went to the worst place for a young player to, grow and develop and hone his skills. Because again, the number one mission over there is to stop the other team, and if we get a goal, we get a goal. You know what I mean? So that he's not allowed to shine. And as they said in the chat as well, he's fairly injury prone. So that'd be another concern to highlight as well.
I do feel for him though, because if you remember back when the transfer happened, it was right when Griezmann was moving to Barcelona. So that spot was going to be empty. So they needed one player to shine. And my guess is that in his eyes, he's looking at that league. He's like, okay, it's a step up in league. It's the Champions League club. I'm going to be the regular starter, and I have Simeone, who's going to turn me into a world-class player. But obviously, look at what has happened now, and obviously, he's nowhere to be seen. So I do feel for him. It's been like, what? Is it like 3 years now that he's been there or more?
I got the FB ref page up. This will be his 4th year there.
That's he still looks like a raw talent. Like
his high for goals is only 8, and his high for assists is 5.
But if you look at the attackers they've had in the past, Torres, Falcao, Aguero,
Griezmann those few seasons,
Diego Costa.
Yeah, exactly. So he's going there thinking Diego Forlan. He's going there thinking, I'm going to be the next big thing, and it just doesn't work like that at the moment. Athletic Madrid. It's all about defense, and from there, it is rice pudding defense. That's what it is. It's nice on its own, but don't go with tomato sauce. And tomato sauce needs to come to Liverpool. Red and red. Just makes sense.
Okay, there's one more player from Atletico Madrid that I want to touch on, who's also available in January, by the way. So for some reason, both of these players came out in the reports in the news. And the next one is a midfielder that Liverpool were highly interested in him before he was moved to Atletico Madrid, and that's Rodrigo de Paul. So supposedly reports in Spain from Marca are saying that Rodrigo de Paul is trying to look for a way out. Now, I did a little digging behind the story, and supposedly it's not too much regarding the system that he's playing in. Obviously, he doesn't fit in because Simeone doesn't play with a number 10. But the main reason that this is happening is because there's some issues between manager and player. When they went, I believe they were going to play like a certain team, and he asked for permission because his father was sick. So he asked for a day off, and the day off that he asked off, they saw him going out partying. So obviously Simeone didn't like this, and there was a lot of issues between them too. And I guess he's getting the cold shoulder now, which obviously gives me a little worried, considering that he was the captain back when he was at Udinese. And if you bring a player of that type, I don't know what's going to happen in the team, but obviously quality wise, I would definitely take Rodrigo de Paul. What are you guys' thoughts on it, Rigo?
Rodrigo to Rigo. For him, unfortunately, he's already past it as far as the age bracket that we're kind of looking for. He's already 28. He'll be 29 May of next year. I think he's that's already reaching end of the line at least for what we're looking for. If this was prior to moving to Atletico, maybe 2-3 years ago, that Rodrigo de Paul coming from Udinese, then definitely for sure. But not for his age now. I know he's gonna have a great World Cup with Messi and Argentina, but unfortunately, I don't think he fits the bill for us now. I want someone young who can run for the next 5 seasons without thinking twice. What about you, Demo?
He's probably not in the top 10 of the list that we're thinking about, is it, for midfielders? If you go through it, let's be honest, we've got Jude Barella, Neves, Tillemans, Madison. We could go all night. I don't think he makes the top 20 now, thinking about it, really going into it. But yeah, Klopp isn't having that attitude, is he, on the player? There's no way he's bringing someone on that attitude. I know Mbappe's got an ego, but that's that can be sorted out at that age. And Rodrigo de Paul, if Simeone is not accepting it, then Klopp is no chance accepting it. I wouldn't even worry about that transfer, honestly.
Interesting. Now there's one that Haler did bring out in the comments, and just like you were mentioning, Damon, there's a long list of suitors in Jurgen Klopp's reported transfer targets, and one of them is Enzo Fernandez. Enzo Fernandez from Benfica, 21-year-old midfielder who just moved from River Plate on a close to 20 million deal, or like a 12 million deal, who now has a release class of 120 million euros. Obviously, he's not going to be moving out for that price, but reports in Portugal are saying that he will be valued at more than 50 million euros. And also, his partner in midfield, Florentino Luis, is also being looked at by Liverpool, who is 23 years old, and supposedly they've been the couple that have brought Benfica success so far this season. Claimed by Ojogo, like Haler is saying, but both of them are protected by a 120 million release clause. Now the question is, guys, 2 players with 120 euros release clause, obviously both talented, obviously both well positioned in their teams, and literally what we need, mainly Enzo Fernandez. But if you're gonna pay 50-60 million per a player of that caliber, again, would you guys go for that, or would you guys go for someone like Jen is mentioning down here, pay 40 million extra and get Jude? What are you guys' thoughts on this?
Why do we have to select one? First question. Second is of those two, I think Enzo Fernandez is the player that shows the most promise between him and Florentino Luis. He's come in from River Plate and is absolutely tearing it up in Liga Portugal, as well as in their Champions League matches as well. He's already starting to get capped for Argentina, and Florentino Luis. Unfortunately, while his comp videos showed a promising player, he was on loan last year at Getafe. Only started 9 matches, and they sent him right back to Benfica. He hasn't played too much football the last 4 or 5 seasons. Enzo, while being younger, actually has played more matches in the past couple of years. So I definitely, if there was one to target out of those two, I would go for Enzo Fernandez 7 days a week, 7 days out of the week.
D, what about you?
Yeah, I'd agree. Enzo Fernandez is the one for me, rather than Florentino Luis is a decent player, but I can't see him being the replacement for Fabinho. I don't think he's got that talent in him to be that good. Enzo Fernandez is a very good player, though. He's definitely one I'd looking at. It's funny, really, how 10 years on, we've gone from taking players from Southampton now to a whole league, where we're going to Premier League. Like it's better because we've got a few clubs to choose from rather than just Southampton. Yeah, it was spread out a little bit. So
definitely a way
really
bigger pool there.
we really
It's
are
a little bit riskier too. Now it's a bigger risk because the difference in quality in the league is also bigger.
And we've got some brilliant players from them. So
Mm-hmm.
keep doing it.
Sure.
Let's keep going to Portugal. I think we're becoming the club that Wolves want to be at the moment.
Now, speaking of Wolves, speaking of Portuguese players and all that, obviously, I believe that this comes from the Julian Ward effect, right? Because he has a background in the Portuguese league, and he speaks Portuguese, and he has all these connections in the Portuguese league. And this is going to be a totally separate question from transfers. I'm going to ask you guys, what have you guys thought about Julian Ward's short but interesting tenure so far at the club? Do you guys think he's done okay? The prices that we paid for players, the type of players that we got in. Rigo, Julian Ward, what's your take so far on what he's done? Obviously, the players that we bring are not just brought by him. Obviously, club also has to sign off at the end by him and the analytical team and whatnot. But obviously, we know that the deals at the end are being done by him. So, thoughts on Julian Ward so far?
So far, so good. I think he's kind of picked up from the last regime. Our last sporting director left off, Michael Edwards, who's still a free agent. Who knows where he's going to end up? I think that'll be very intriguing where he does finally land. But Julian Ward definitely started off very well. I think we still have to kind of grade it as an incomplete, just for the simple fact that we are in the midst of a squad transformation, a squad rebuild, while still remaining obviously competitive and challenging for all the titles. So I know one of the biggest things that we did miss off that shopping list is a midfielder. So I'm going to hold off my grade until we see a couple of the players that we know are aging out get replaced and the new players that are brought in to kind of spearhead the new generation of Liverpool coming through. So it's incomplete for me, but very promising first two quarters.
Now, what he's done so far is he's sold Sadio Mane to Bayern Munich on a 23 plus add-ons deal. He has renewed Mohamed Salah. He has brought Luis Diaz, if I'm not wrong, because reports were saying that it was him that actually took control of that purchase and not really.
By that point, Michael Edwards already had gone more to the background, so that was a deal secured by Julian. Yep, you're right on that.
Calvin Ramsey. I'm thinking about the DJ, and Calvin Ramsey, who we haven't seen enough of yet. So, Damon, based on what he's done,
he was at the parade. He was at the parade. After the Champions League, he was playing music on the coach there.
He's done more for Liverpool Football Club than Ramsey has so far. So get him out right back.
David, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Julian Ward's tenure so far in the club?
You know what? It reminds me of John Enton taking over Steven Gerrard as captain. It's some big shoes to fill, in it. I mean, Michael Edwards pulled some absolute miracles off. Gerrard, it's funny really because Gerrard pulled miracles off as a player with shit players, whilst Michael Edwards has done it. Michael Edwards has done it with shit money. It's quite compare it to each other. You know what I'm saying? Michael Edwards has done that, and the way he brought in like 25 million players like Brewster and Jordan Ibe and stuff. It's I can't see Julian Ward doing that. I think what Julian Ward is doing now, I think in being there is exposing FSG's policy, because Michael Edwards, it worked for Michael Edwards because he the magic he had, it was your Harry Potter style magic. He could perform absolute wonders in the transfer window. Getting 25 million for people like Brewster is just ridiculous. You can't. When we pay 8 million for Robertson, look at the difference in that. Brewster played
his Robertsons, etc. could be Carvalho bringing him on. He was brought in for a pretty low transfer fee there. So, but I think it's a combination of things. It's definitely a very extremely high standard that Michael Edwards had set. And the other thing is that, that was when LFC Liverpool started transforming under Klopp and Edwards into the team and the organization that we see now. So we kind of know the playbook a little bit already. So it'll be hard, doubly hard to impress somebody when they've seen, that magic trick already one time. The other advent is, of course, how technology and just media just keeps growing and expanding. All of a sudden, we're at our fingertips. We already have scouting reports and stat on the most obscure type players. So I think just the availability and the free flow of information kind of makes it hard to kind of unearth those gems that we're kind of hoping he does, based on, as you said, Damon, our limited budget in certain respects there.
So Damon, you still in the?
I think the difference is Michael Edwards would probably got Nunez for 10 million a box of bars. Whilst they paid 65, 85 million for him under Julian Ward.
That's what I wanted to mention. So what Julian Ward has proven, at least now, is that he's able to get the job done. But the difference between him and obviously Michael Edwards is that he's not able to get it at that crazy deal that Michael Edwards used to do it. And like Damon was saying, Michael Edwards would probably gotten Nunez for like a 40 million deal plus sending a player over there like Minamino. Or maybe deals like Sadio Mane, he would have gotten like 40 million for Sadio Mane type of things. So at least we know that he's able to get it done. So far so good. I don't know that's probably going to hunt us down the line, obviously, because that's money that we could obviously save and then spend more players. But Rigo, what do you think?
You have to recall that Man United was also in for Nunez as well. So naturally, they're going to drive up that price. And everyone knowing basically that Sadio Mane was going to leave. So we were kind of waiting on that move to happen, kind of nail down which team he was going to go to and make sure that we acquire enough in transfer fees for him to, get that net spend balancing out. I think it would have been hard for Michael Edwards to bring down that price unless he was on it, way ahead of the curve. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Let's just to finish off, because we're reaching the last 4 minutes of the stream. Let's touch on something that I wanted to mention a few moments ago, and it's actually on club substitutions. So I feel like we've seen this too many times. For some reason, Liverpool, towards the last 15, 20 minutes of the games when they're winning 1-0, they're starting to crumble for some reason. And club is starting to do some strange substitutions that not many fans are happy with. Personally, from my point of view, I feel like they don't make sense. So I would like to hear what you guys think behind this whole substitution thing. Damon, I mean, do you agree? Do you think he has some reasoning behind a few of them? Because like he was saying that Darwin Nunez felt something, he didn't want to risk it. But they've been pretty strange lately. What do you think?
I think he's always been like that with Klopp. With substitutions, he's always made weird times, weird people to bring on. He's always gone defensive and very against his own tactics in a way. I think you're talking like 2-3 years ago where he used to bring like Matty on and put 5 at the back, or Gomez on and bring 5 at the back, and it don't work when you got such an attacking talent. It don't work. My dad always used to tell me, the best line of defense is attack, and the way you defend is go score another one. And it's put the game to bed. There's no point defending because it's a matter of time before. Exactly, put the game to sleep. It's only a matter of time before they're going to break the door down. If you defend for 20 minutes, they're going to break the door down and they're going to get equalised. This is why people like Liverpool and Man United over the years have scored last-minute winners, because the defending can only do so much. The defence gets knackered. That they can only do so much. Regarding the Klopp substitutions, this is what he's been doing. He's been good defensive half the time. And is it down to the lack of squad depth he has got? And with the players that he can bring on, because you look at your bench and you're thinking, I've got Milner and Kelleher to come on here. You got to bring one of them on. Do you think, Kelleher probably could do more of a job in midfield than Milner at the moment. He's probably got the legs, but he's limited options, and I don't know. It's difficult with Klopp because sometimes he makes the wrong substitutions too early. Like the other night, he made them early. And then usually it makes them too late. And it's like, you want him to change him. And I think he's always had that. That's the problem with Klopp. And I think I don't know. I can't even put my finger on
it. I think it's, it's been to varying degrees as far as Klopp's decision making. I think last season, towards the end of last season, he was just on fire with the substitutions, and they were just working out left and right. And this season, with obviously with the injuries that we've had, he's kind of had to over rely on certain players or rely on players that perhaps weren't particularly ready yet. Yesterday, as mentioned, his hand was a little forced there. He typically doesn't make a substitution unless it's Naby Keita against Real Madrid in the Champions League, before like the 60-minute mark. And I know a couple of us were shouting as far as FPL is concerned that, we're not going to get credit for that, for the extra point for the 60 minutes played. But I think his hand was a little bit forced there. You don't want to take a risk with Nunez. And in bringing him off, you kind of have to make changes around the squad to make sure you stay in a position of strength. We definitely lost a lot of momentum yesterday when he came off, and those last 20 minutes of the match were absolutely nerve-wracking. It took a Milner stepping in there to kind of poke that ball away before Souček can tie the match. But at the same time, us relying on Milner, you can see that his legs were absolutely done. Players were dribbling by him, and his only option, because he's not going to catch up to them, was the foul. And if he couldn't make the foul, then it was just wide open space. So, that's the thing as well. We can question the substitutions, but we also have to keep in mind the other factors that we found out after the match, injuries, or the other factors is, we don't have suitable players available. But I think yesterday, he got it right for the most part, considering those factors.
Sounds good. Obviously, I would love to start getting a little longer on this topic, but we have reached the 40-minute mark, guys. Rigo, take it away. Just let us go now, and then.
All right. Thank you guys for joining. As always, subscribe and like, comment. Check out all of our streams: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, every single little thing. Jen, thank you for noticing my dog. That's my dog, Miles. He's the best dog in the world. I love that guy. But and I love all you guys too. Love you, Dan. Love you, Damo. Thank you guys for joining. We'll be back here tomorrow.